You're listening to Bold Hearts, Big Moves, the show for female entrepreneurs who want it all: a thriving business, deep self love, and fulfilling relationships. I'm Erin Anderson, and each week we will dive into how to set stronger boundaries, make empowered choices, and show up in life and business with boldness, authenticity, and heart. Because let's be real, the money you make is directly related to the love that you have for yourself and the strength of your relationships. So if you're ready to lead with love and make those big moves with those bold hearts, let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bold Hearts, Big Moves. This is the place for the female entrepreneur to be able to come, set boundaries, learn how to set boundaries, and heal burnout and create the relationships that she wants in her life and her business. Today we have with us Alisha Boulter. And Alisha and I have had a lot of really fun conversations in the last little bit. And she's just got such a cute personality and so much fun, but she also has a really great story to tell about healing burnout and about how to stand in your boundaries when not everybody agrees with them. So, without further ado, welcome Alisha. I almost called you Ashley. I'm so
It's
sorry. I know your
okay.
name. Thank you. Thanks for coming on. And tell us a little bit about you and why you're so passionate about this idea of healing burnout.
Yeah, so hi everyone. I'm Alicia. I'm a mom of three, and I am here in Wisconsin. I'm a business coach who focuses a lot on female service providers and coaches for scaling beyond being on turned on all of the time. And the reason that I'm set in that scaling mode without burnout, and I really focus on this, is because I actually built a multi six-figure business back in 2020. And I did this on the grounds of burnout. And I know Erin and I talked about like
Mm,
how women are just set. We kind of just take on this role, especially with societal norms of just setting ourselves up for
yeah,
burnout, but we don't even realize it until it's too late. Because the way that everything is structured and how we tend to work, I feel like we take on little pieces and it's kind of like when you're building a Lego tower, right? You're building like
mm,
one block at a time, but it's not a great thing. It's more you're building and building things on to the point where you're trying to be this pillar. And eventually, when you layer things on, you can only hold so much. So I focus with women in business a lot. And what happens is we're not only taking on our business, we are taking on all the other things that we have in our life, that we're trying to have a wheel and an engine over here, keeping our life going. And we're also trying to design our businesses. And what I see is we take and we say we can create these businesses, which we can because we're amazing. Like,
right.
right? We're just
Yeah, of
amazing.
course. Why not?
We can figure things out. If you're anything like me, you figure things out. And that's what I did. So back in 2020, I like went really hard I was real estate investing. I was also working as a nurse. I was a mom well, I was pregnant at the time. So I had my first daughter. I had another one on the way. And then during my journey of entrepreneurship in that real estate investing, I actually became a realtor. I had my nursing. And then I had another baby that we ended up getting pregnant with. That was a surprise for us. So at that point, so that whole journey, I was pulling in being a mom of three, and of course, societal norms. Before my husband and I had even got together, we adapted into that role of me being the default parent. And it's so common that I see this, especially working with women. It's amazing when I start to talk about how I just kind of set into that way. Women are like, yep, that was me too. That was me too.
Mm,
Um, and I didn't set those boundaries, but I didn't know how much it would affect me down the road and me and my business down the road too.
Yeah.
So in that period, so in a matter of 18 months, we got real estate property that, this whole thing, people said we couldn't do it. I'm like, heck no, I know I can do it. And I did it. But I also was doing it with me being at the forefront of that business. I was doing everything. And I was also coaching other women to as to how I was doing that too. So I wasn't leveraging my knowledge base, and I didn't understand that aspect at the time. And that was how many years ago. Now I've definitely stepped into understanding that leverageable piece and how
Right.
incredibly valuable your knowledge set is. So that's why I work with service-based providers and coaches, because a lot of the time what I see is they are stuck in this one-to-one framework, or they're in this done for you framework,
Yep.
and they've set their business up that way, right? And they're getting results for their clients and they're doing amazing things, but they have to be on and constantly present to be able to do that. So they're not leveraging, our time asset is a limited asset.
Yeah.
But our knowledge base and our skill base, that is an infinite asset. So what
Yep.
we need to do is we need to start leveraging this infinite asset piece. And what I focus on specifically is making sure that we're leveraging that piece in a way that calls in the clientele that we need, because what we likely have is a methodology that we help our clients with or we help them do in our done for you work. There's different micro points in that transformation that you walk that client through. So now is about, how do we take this methodology? How do we break this into micro transformations and macro transformations? Because there's different ways to package this up. And when you're packaging up, I call it productizing your knowledge into an offer, right? And that's
Mm.
where it can leverage. And then when you can package those up so well that meets your clients where they're at. Your ideal client, that one dreamiest client, and you can put together these points that they can come into your world where they need to. But
Mm.
also when you're packaging this, and this is what I see so many women in business doing, is do they're trying to do what other people, it has worked for other people. Um,
Yeah.
they're
It,
not taking into consideration their life. For example, you have 6 kids at home.
yep. I do.
Are you gonna run a live program like, you
You
know,
know,
in this instance right now? It's
oh,
just,
you know what? I gotta say, okay, I gotta say, recently, no. I've come to that conclusion. I used to do the live programs, and I have lots of really great programs when it comes to boundaries. Like we're talking about the unbreakable boundary. I've got
yep,
another program, Bold Hearts, Big Moves, and we also talk about like my live coaching, right? Like my one-on-one coaching. And no,
that. And that's,
no.
you get into these coaching containers or something. A lot of coaches will say, this is how I built mine, so this is how you should build yours. Well,
Hmm.
that's not, you know,
It's
what
not
you
sustainable.
what you need to understand more so than that is what each offer type has, and what, like, the transformation sets in each of these offer types, and how to build out your business model.
Hmm.
Look at it as a whole and say, okay, these are my offers. These are the core offers, and these are the core touch points that my client needs to go through in order to get to the transformation at the highest level.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
when you're looking at this and you have it mapped out, then you look at it and you say, okay, I really know that they need to come. This offer is what I want to work on right now. But how do I deliver this in a way that fits my life? You know,
Hmm.
that,
Yeah.
and there's different ways to do that. If you look at it, or if you know that there's a way that this has to be created, this one offer that you know is like, it's a core thing, and you know that your life couldn't sustain working on that one right now, but you know that there's other touch points, then you hold off on that one and you work on the other ones. You work on the one that fits with your life at the moment. It's not about like getting it all done in one setting.
Oh, yeah.
Um, it's about looking, you know that these are the offers. You have an offer map, you have a business map. Now, what works for you and what works for your energy preferences and your deliverability preferences and your life scenario? Because, like right now, we're in summer and I feel like, some of us are at home with our kids and we just don't have the time to be on a delivery of live programs. So how can we take that and turn it into a deliverability that works for you? So, and also when we're able to build out that offer map, we can also have this amazing concept of keeping clients in our world longer, paid clients in our world longer, because it's so much easier to keep a client that is, working with you, has this know, like, and trust with you. And then they're like, okay, I got this amazing transformation with this offer that you provided me. It was so good. Where do I go next? I have my credit card out. I'm ready to buy. Please, like, send me where I need to go next because I'm ready for the next level of my
Next piece.
transformation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's like, because I just see so many amazing women trying to like offload everything into their one-to-one work and having to repeat themselves time after time after time when they could be leveraging that knowledge base and pulling
Hmm.
it in. So
Well,
that's really what I focus on, but I also focus on making sure that the women that I work with aren't like, I'm going to do it all at one time because I did that all in my last
yeah,
business
it's not
ever.
sustainable.
And what I say about burnout is it is unlike anything you'll ever experience because it's deeper than anxiety, it's deeper than stress. It
Hmm.
really has this mental toll. Like I said, I've always been a doer, right? I'm always that person that's like, there's a way to figure this
Yep.
out. And I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do this. I'm a creative person. That's always who I've been. But when I hit burnout in business, and it was a slow
Oh,
progression,
yeah.
but when I hit it, and I was like, I was questioning my marriage, I was questioning my motherhood, I was questioning my ability to do things that were like,
Yep.
we would walk away with like a $20,000, day, and I would be like, this is not, I didn't do anything good. That wasn't good enough. And like, that thing, like that questionability of my like worth,
Yep.
it was crazy. And then,
I gotta pause you here for a second,
oh, you're
and because
good.
I want to say the reason why the worth thing came out was because that's what you were doing the whole burnout for, was to prove your worth,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so when that whole thing falls out from underneath you, guess what shows up? The reason why you were doing the hustle in the first place, right? And this is so good to sit there and think about these kinds of things because yeah, when you step back and you're like, yeah, I gained a lot of knowledge in this. If we can leverage that knowledge, like you're saying, it really makes a big difference in avoiding burnout. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But
And
otherwise burnout will come up because it's going to make you look at what is really the problem.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And it did. It made me like, it, and then like that deep work over the next, and it took like a year and a half to go into deep
Hmm.
work with this. Like, and I tried to avoid that deep work because I was like, oh no, I'm fine. I'll just figure it all out. But no, I had to dive into it.
Yeah,
But that process, that healing journey, like I wouldn't wish burnout on anybody.
right.
Like,
No, same
because
here.
it's just the amount of work you have to do to like come back from that and get back to like feeling like your whole self and um knowing that like it's so hard to look back because you see all those failures in that time frame and you're like those were failures or like
You might
even
think that.
when,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's but now looking back, I'm like, those weren't failures. Those were learning points in my journey. And I've always had learning points in my life.
Yes.
And, but it was in that I've always been an optimistic person. So, like, prior to burnout, I would look at, like, when something would not go the way that I was expecting, I would just be like, well, this was a learning experience, right? But when I hit burnout, I couldn't even do that. Like, I had always
Yeah.
been the person who
Yep.
was like, nope, there's another way. Nope, this is a learning experience. But at that time, when I hit burnout, I was like, oh, nope, I don't even have it in me to, like, this was the worst experience. I failed. Like, I've never been that person that's like, I failed, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, but to get back to being like, no, failure is not a set thing. It's just a learning experience,
It
And
is. It
like a
so
failure
is.
up here, a failure
It
is.
so is, right? And like this is the thing. Like this is what I'm loving about this whole thing is looking at this burnout and being like, I couldn't even move past it. Well, it's not that we can't move past it. It's that we weren't paying attention. We had our this voice inside of ourselves, like this, hey, you've got to listen to me. You've
Mhm.
got to listen to me. You've got to listen to me. And we're like, nah, you're good. You're fine.
I
You're
got this.
fine.
I got this.
We're
Just one
fine.
more
You're
thing.
good.
Just
You're
one
good.
more
You're
thing.
good. Right? And finally, it like walks up and it like shakes us like, Dag nabbit, I'm here. You need to listen to me.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, right. And and like I said, like burnout, if we're hitting burnout, it does not mean that we can't move past it, right? Not at all. You've moved past it. I've totally moved past burnout. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not going to hit it again. Like, I'm not going to do that because I tend to have patterns inside of me where I'm like, oh, guess what? I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And all of a sudden I'm in burnout and I'm like, oh, yeah, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
a very type A personality. I like doing all the things.
Hmm.
Right? But when we don't listen to ourselves and we're not really listening to why we're doing all the things and why we're getting the results we're getting and like really taking a look and getting curious, it will absolutely lead to burnout. And so I'm going to guess, you know, what finally healed yours was some type of curiosity.
Yeah, mine was so I dug deep into so like I would say my business structuring was like what really started to heal me because I went into like the business world and I was seeing what other coaches were kind of like teaching and preaching.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was I was seeing that they were kind of leading women into this burnout mode that I could see again, because I had
Mm-hmm.
lived it. So then I was like, no, 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 no. So now I'm like super protective of these women and also of my time because I had a lot of coaches being like, you should do a lot of one-to-one work. I'm like, okay, what I do in this situation is I look in 6 months from now or 3 months from now, if my calendar is full with one-to-one clients, how does my life look for my kids? Because I can tell you, and for me, my kids,
Mm-hmm.
and for me,
Mm-hmm.
because I can tell you from experience when I was booked out in my other business. And I mean, I was booked out working 70, 80 hours a week, like not being present, not having quality time with them. I'm like, it just brings me back. I see that vision, like, right? I see that clarity. I see me sitting there on all of these calls. I see me sitting there not having a business that's working behind the scenes for me. And I'm being back in this situation that I was how long ago?
Yeah.
So that clarity piece and having that clarity piece. So when I'm looking at like what I want my business to look like or what I want my client or what my clients want their business to look like, we have to pull them back to reality and be like, hey, I've been there and I'm not
Done
going to
that.
let you get there.
Yes.
Um, like, yes, this is not about building this overnight, but it's about building it so that way in 6 months from now or in a few, like a year from now, you're not sitting here burnt in this business that is like a weight on your shoulders. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's something where it's lifting you up and you're living your life because
Mm-hmm.
of this business, not because this business is on top of you. It's all about
Yes.
So
Yes.
the clarity piece, like I would say, like even after that burnout came and then I came into the business world, like I was seeing this burnout model and this hustle model being pushed, being
Yeah.
pushed, being pushed. And I was like, there is gotta be a different way. There's gotta be something like different. So I invested a lot into, you know, learning that knowledge and bringing it to light. But it's something that clarity piece that's in me. I won't help people structure their businesses to burn them out because I'm so
No.
protective of it. Like I'm just
Yeah,
so
no.
protective. And I always look at how would this look in, yes, it would be great to take on like 10 more clients in a month, right? It'd be awesome.
Hmm.
The paycheck would be cool, but you know what? Would your nervous system,
What would your
would
nervous
your
system do?
whole
Yep.
body, would your whole life be able to take this on? Or would you
Yep.
just be doing it
Get the
to
paycheck.
float? No, no, no. We want to
Yeah.
thrive. Like,
Right. Yes, exactly. I have asked myself this exact same question, right? Because, and this was a little bit ago, and I will be like totally transparent and totally honest with you guys here. I had hit a type of burnout. Like it wasn't quite as serious as yours, but it was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot do one more thing with my kids, with my family, like with my business. Like I just need total space, right?
yep.
And I gave myself the opportunity to have total space. I really did. I stopped posting online for a little bit. I stopped my emails for a little bit, right? And luckily I had enough podcast episodes going out that we were good there, but like, you know, I just stopped because I was like, what is going on? And I really, and this is where I'm saying like this clarity and this curiosity piece, like meet it with clarity and curiosity
Hmm.
because it's trying to tell you something, right? And I love helping women with their boundaries, especially the entrepreneur women, to avoid the burnout, to
Yeah.
avoid like leaving their kids behind because nobody wants to do that, right? And like you're right, this whole hustle culture is being preached. It is massively being preached. And then we
Hmm.
can't ever show any weakness and we can't ever ask for help or we can't. And it's like it is so in my face. I can't even
Yeah.
tell you. And I don't want that for women because we can do some amazing things if that's not what we're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yes. And you have so much more impact. Like when we can harness this and we can harness the clarity and we can harness the scalability, not only do you get to have this clarity inside yourself, but you get to impact more people.
Yeah,
And the
exactly.
fact that there are so many amazing women that are providing transformations to other women, because like even like for example, like I said, I told you I had to do deep work. I did EMDR
Hmm.
therapy.
Hmm.
And like there is so much inner work that was done inside of that container that can be impacted more by other people. And there's so much, more impact in one individual, one
Hmm.
service provider, and one coach. And it's just a matter of how can we do more of that? Because we want to do more as women. But how can we do more that's also giving us our time back? Because if we're
Yeah.
not able to harness that, then you're gonna burn that light out. And then who's gonna provide that light to other people? Like who?
Yes. Well,
So,
and to build upon what you were saying from my perspective, right? Like this is what happened with me. When I got really, really, really honest with myself, right? And why I was trying to hustle and why I was trying to do all the things and why I was legitimately ignoring my time boundary, like completely ignoring it,
hmm.
right? And this is why. It was because I didn't believe that I could have the money that I wanted. And
Yeah,
so I was looking at like my clients coming in as like dollar signs, right? And like trying to get all of the dollar signs coming in and I had to be present. I had to show myself and I had to right? And all of a sudden, boom, right in my face. It blew up in my face.
yeah,
Because the thing is we say that we want to help people, but if I'm going to be like flat out honest what I see, is people saying, I want to help people, but really I want to have the money, right? And
Yep,
so
you
I'm going
got
to
to
go do
create
this all
your
thing.
your programs like I say this too. You can't come at your programs as a money-making piece. It is a component,
It
absolutely,
is.
right?
It
It's your
is. Yeah.
business. This is not a hobby. But that's where, so when I go through like my program that I'm currently working on, that I'm launching right now, we go deep into the different types of offers that there are, and
Hmm.
then puzzling those pieces together. And like when you're looking at how I said, like your lifestyle preferences, your current life stage, but also your money need stage. Like there's different components and there's different offers that are going to give you higher cash injection at a certain point. Um, but it's also about crafting those offers in the transformation set, because not if you are just going at it from a money aspect, right? And you're just trying to get clients in the doorway. I've had this where it was a coach who I won't name any names, but like I went into her DMs, I like her messaging, and I was telling her what I was trying to get and what I was trying to build my business around. At that time, a long time ago, I was doing reselling courses. I just came into the online space and I was trying to resell courses. And I went into her inbox. She was brought to me by a social media manager. And she was a coach for other coaches, but I didn't know what coaches were at the time. Like I had no window into that world. I was in a completely different set, but I would kind of told her I was trying to resell courses and I really wanted to get my, reselling these courses. I wanted to resell more. And I poured my heart and soul, I would say, literally into her messaging with her in this conversation, right?
Hmm.
This is the conversation point where you should be seen. Is this my ideal client? Can I actually serve them? And
Right.
at that time, knowing what I know now, and after the 6 month container with her, it's been, I mean, longer than that now, but she should never have taken me on as a client. I was not her ideal client, but there's so much of that out there right now
Yep.
where people are just trying to get you into their pain thing, and they're trying to be like, okay, now I have I have monthly recurring revenue. I see this all the time. They're putting their like payment plan for their containers onto a payment plan, which is fine, but it's just, if that ideal client, or if that client is not your ideal client and you're just bringing them into your world just to bring them into your world, that's not integrity based. And that's where the amazing thing about having an offer suite and having your offers laid out and knowing your transformation points for your client is the fact that when they come into your DMs, or when they come into a conversation, a sales call, whatever it is, however you get their lead in, you're able to ask the questions that you need to ask and have so much clarity around, no,
Yes.
you are not my ideal client. And the reason for this, now, the beautiful thing about this is when you actually put the right person into the right container, into the right offer, they get transformation, they get
Yep.
results. That is the beauty of what coaching and what leading is all about. Because like I will say, after that 6 month period, I didn't get anywhere. There was no business structure. There was nothing. It was crazy.
Right.
And it was just, I called a rah-rah coach pretty much, because it was just like everything I said, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I'm like, are you not a leader? Are you not supposed to be your business coach? Like, are you not leading me and helping me like formulate my business? So that's like why I'm so into being able to help women like actually build their businesses, actually get some results, actually come out of something with me. And like, that's
Yeah.
bigger than the income piece is the transformation piece for my clients. Yes, my income piece is important, but you know what? These are women that I'm holding in my heart to lead and to help,
Yes.
like guide, like,
Yes.
and make
Yes.
sure that they don't go into what I had experienced. And also
Yes.
making sure that they're scaling their businesses to be able to hold themselves and to be able to hold their life. So,
Yes.
and I say this too, I think the coach who you don't have is the best coach for you too, because when you can go into their lead like source and they're so clear on their messaging, and I am able to say, you're not actually my ideal client. I'm sorry, but my programs probably would not help you, and I don't want to bring you into them, and just take your money. I think, that's
That's somebody sitting in integrity.
yes. So,
Yes.
yes. And when you
And
have
that,
that much clarity around your client, their transformation set, their micro points, where their journey, what their value ladder looks like that's just, it's freeing. It's lightning.
it
It's
is.
freedom. It's freedom for me. And I knowing my business is creating freedom for me for income
Mm-hmm.
and impact. Without me having to be on 24/7. I really focus
Yep.
on scalability, offers, and everything.
Yep.
But it's also that freedom in my heart, knowing I'm not going to pull in the wrong clients. I'm not going to take clients that don't belong in my world. I'd rather see them spend their money elsewhere, inject their money elsewhere in their business or in their life needs, than have it come into my world if I'm not going to get
Yeah.
them transformations. So
Yes. Yes. So true. So true. And and I love that, is because I know for me, like honestly, I have never had somebody tell me I'm not their ideal client. Like that it's straight up true. But I
I
can
told
I
I told somebody that 2 weeks ago, and
and
it felt really
that's so
good
good. It does. It feels so
because
good.
it's just,
It
and
does.
I wasn't even going to try to sit here and like, when you don't pull teeth to try to get people in the door because you know that it's going to be a long, like, think about the ride that you're going to have to take to get them the transformation. If they're
Yep.
not your ideal client, you're going to have to rework who they are. And that's pretty much what this other coach had done because I came into her world and all of a sudden, like, because I'm personable, right? I like to talk. And like, she's like, and I was coming at her with all of these knowledge base, right? I had been in the business world and I had been like learning and I had all this knowledge base. So I was almost coaching her too in the containers. And she's
Oh,
like,
yeah, so not good. Oh, that's
so
so
like,
not good.
but she was like, you should be a coach. And keep in mind, at that time, I was like in the reselling space world. So this is what I came into her container thinking we were going to be working on. And all of a sudden it was, but come to find out, she, like, now that I know what I know about coaching in the industry, I learned a lot more, obviously over the last how
Of
many
course.
years. But knowing what I know now, um, she was a coach for coaches to get more one-to-one work. That's what she specialized in. But I didn't know that coming into her container. Now she should have been like, I'm a
Well,
coach
yeah,
for
that's
coaches coming into, like, you don't even have a coaching container.
yeah.
Like, so her to say, I can help you, and then 6 months later, we like just nothing, no like structure, no nothing, and then just being like, you should be a coach. Okay, how do I do that? Oh, you just what do you want to do? Like, and
Yeah,
no
it's like,
guide.
oh,
And
no,
then
no, no. No, no, no.
I remember asking her, and I'll never forget this. This was towards the end of the container, and this was when I started to like be like, okay, I'm coaching her. I'm pretty much coaching, I have this knowledge base. Okay, how do I bring this to light? How do I actually structure this? I have my past business experience. I know, and it took me a while to figure out, hey, scalability is the piece that you focus on. And
Hmm.
the reason is because you're burnout, you have this knowledge base, you have a lot to bring to the table. But it took me a long time to formulate that. But towards the end of that container, before I started really formulating that, I just remember I was like, what if I asked her, what if I can't answer the question, or what if I don't have the answer for the client on the other side that I bring in? Right. Because there was no focus at that point. There was no focus on what I was like. When you're so specific on what you help with, that's where your focus and your clarity comes in. But she wasn't modeling that, right?
No,
So
no,
I
she
just,
wasn't.
I just asked, how, if you don't have the questions or the answer to the question, what do you do? And she's like, oh, I don't answer their questions. I just reformulate their question and have them answer it. And I was like,
That's
wait,
not leadership.
that's not leadership. I'm like, so if there's somebody charging you $6,000, that was the point where I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
would have more structure. I would have more clarity. I would make sure that my clients were being pulled into a clarity set, clarity container, specific transformational
Yep.
thing that they were looking for. That's where your offer suite comes in because you're able to do that, right? That's where I focus on and making sure that you guide them to the points that they need, right? There's just
Yes.
so much relief in that.
I actually had a question asked in a Facebook group that I'm a part of.
Yeah.
Are you a mentor or are you a coach? And I was like, I'm both. And they're like, and I had a few people that are like, well, that's not sustainable. That's not good. And I'm like, no, that's leadership. And I explained it. I was like, here's the deal, right? When you are charging people to come into your space, you are helping them not only with really, really good questions and helping them think and get their own answers, you're
Hmm.
also helping them, getting them on the pathway to thinking and how to think and how to view this and how to see this and how to, you're giving them a ginormous how to, right? And but you're bringing in their brain, you're bringing in your brain.
Your brain.
This
That's
is
the part
that's
that there's
that's the
so many
piece.
coaches that are missing. Like they just
Yeah.
think they can just like reformulate the person's knowledge and try to like have them in a container for 6 months and not do anything, just like to ask the rah-rah questions and the no.
No. No, they
So
want a
that's
transformation.
yes, exactly. Because what if you're coming out of that container and then the funny thing, like I remember like being asked, "Oh, do you want to continue your container?" Why would I do that? Like what transformation? Like even if it would have been a micro transformation, that's where you're like you can have a micro transformation with somebody and get them to
Yeah.
stay in your world. And that's the important part. That's
Yep.
like it
Quick
doesn't
wins.
have to be, it's the same thing with your offer suite. It doesn't have to be done all at once, but like build the pieces, just
Yeah.
same with the transformations. If you're not helping with micro transformations and getting them to the next level, if you do nothing because you have no clarity around your
Offers or what you
client,
do or clients.
exactly,
Yeah.
your customer journey and the offers that they need. Like that's and also the clarity on how you're going to deliver those for yourself to keep your
Yes.
energy alive and like how you said, you have to be real with yourself and be accountable with yourself and
Hmm.
acknowledge. So like this is the first part of my program is like we are going to look at how do you want your life to actually look? How do you want your business to actually look? Because we
So
try, I
good.
think, as women to avoid this because we're like, we can do it all. And I just
Yeah.
want to build a business. Like I want to have this success. Well, I can tell you from experience that you can have the $20,000 months,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
that's success, but then you're just crumbling because that success is built on shaky foundation. Like
Because
and can't
yeah,
hold you.
because the thing is the money is not the end result. Like, what do you want the money for? That's the result. That's the
Hmm.
end result you're actually looking at. But when we're so hyper focused, and I get this because I've so been there,
Yep.
right? Like when we're so hyper focused on that, oh, okay, $20,000 this month, $20,000 this month, $20,000 this month, instead of going on this family vacation this month, going on this family vacation this month, or I want to hear,
Leaving your computer early by like 3
yes,
p.m. every single day
yes,
to make sure you can go. Mine
yes,
is mine is leaving my computer by 3 p.m. at least like every single
yes,
day. Not
yes,
on my computer. It's going to get my kids and we go to the park and and when I was forced to say, and why, like, why do you want the $20,000 months? Why do you want this? And it's because, and I know we talked about this, like my childhood, I didn't have that like really strong connective formulations in parenting with my parents. They were always busy or like I have some stuff with my mother and stuff that I don't have a
right?
really strong relationship with my parents. So for me, it is being that pillar for them and being there and being present so I can have this relationship with them for forever. So they know that mom is always available for them. So like building my business in a way that allows me to have freedom and flexibility is so important because if I get a call from somewhere that my kid needs me, I want to know that my business is built to hold me to be able to drop everything
Yes,
and go.
exactly. Exactly. And and this is the thing for me, like I think about like what what do I want my funeral to be like?
Yeah.
Right? Like this is such a good question. Like literally to ask yourself if you're dealing with burnout and you ask yourself this question, oh my gosh, does it ever put your boundaries in perspective? Right? What do you want your funeral to be like? Well, like I want it to have to be broadcast to all these different chapels, right? Because I impacted that many
So
people,
many
but
people,
so many
right?
people, and they're all saying, "Oh my gosh, she did this for me, and she did this for me, and she did this for me, and she did this for me." But you know what? It's not going to matter if I have it broadcast if my kids are not on the front row with their
Hmm.
families.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. And so the thing is what experience do you want? And how, like, if you really, really wrap that up, if you're coaching, or even if you're in a brick and mortar business, you're still thinking about what experience do you want your clients to have in your space,
Yep.
right? It's all about
Yes.
that. And if you're not giving yourself that experience consistently, how do you expect to offer that to them,
Yep.
right? And the thing is if you're experiencing burnout, I love you with all my heart and soul, but nobody's going to hire you as a coach for you to teach them how to get to burnout. There's plenty of people already doing that.
Yeah. And there's
What
plenty
people,
of people focusing on like pushing that. Like,
yes. And
yeah.
it's not sustainable. So let's not answer that question. Guys, like what do you really, really want to experience? Because there's other people out there that want to experience the same thing. When you get clear with that, you can start to see like how you need to restructure your life, your business, etc. And that in and of itself can also seem overwhelming. Like I'm not gonna
I tried to avoid it for so long. And like when I came into the online space, and even when I was in that reselling programs, like I was like, I can just do this hustle mode again. Like I can build this business
Oh
on
no
this
no no
hustle
no
mode
no.
again. I'm going to do everything. I'm just going to ignore my needs. I'm going to get up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to be working like crazy. My kids were outside on the playground. I was like, I can't go out with you. I need to be learning this and I need to just figure this out. Like I remember 3 a.m. to like 11 p.m. or later every night. And I was like, I wasn't even getting anywhere because I was just burning myself out again.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to do that whole thing again. And there was just this point where I was like, I missed so much with my last business in being in that hustle mode and being on all the time, taking on so many clients, taking on so much. And I just look back and I'm like, I was pregnant with my son then, and we had him, and he's 3 now. And I'm just looking at him. I'm like, you're huge. Like, where did the time go? But it's just, it goes by so
It
fast.
does.
And setting our businesses up to hold us and to give us those moments back, like that's what we're
Exactly.
focused
That's what we're
on.
here for. That's why we do business.
Yeah.
It's not just for our clients, it's also for our sustainability.
What kind of freedom is it going to give for you? And this is the big thing too. Like, so I focus on coaches and service providers, and living and showing that you're living and like living what you're saying you're going to do. So, like, for me to be like, I want to scale, but without burnout, and then I'm not there with my kids and I'm not spending that time. It's almost like paying yourself in a business. Are you
Mm-hmm.
paying yourself with the transformation that you say you give to? Like, so for me, it's I'm spending time with my kids. Like, I'm turning off. Like, there's
Yes.
there's no way I'm not going to miss those moments again. I missed so many concerts. I missed so many, you know, things with my daughter,
You
and now
got
it's like I'm not missing those. I
no.
volunteer for every single school trip there is. I
I love that. I can't wait till I can do that. I still have little
yeah.
people at home, but it's not my business that stops me from doing that, right? It's because I still have a little person at home that still
Oh
needs
yeah.
mom,
Yep.
right?
Sometimes that'll
So
do it.
so things like that happen, but here's the thing that I love that we're getting into. It always comes down to getting a clearer picture of yourself because you're realizing that's not who you are. You
Yep.
weren't built to burn out.
Yep.
That's not why you were built. That's not why you are here. That's not what you're meant to do. And like, if you're going to be like totally honest with yourself, is there somebody out there that can do the real estate business and maybe even do it better? Yep. Right? Let's pick the one thing, this knowledge base, one thing that nobody can do better than you.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And
I
just
love
having
that.
that clarity and being real with yourself. Like I said, that's
Hmm.
why it's the first part of my program is making us, and this can be uncomfortable, but it's not meant to be. When you're able to say, this is what I want my days to look like, this is what I want my week to look like, this is where I want freedom, and this is why I want the freedom. Like, go deeper and go deeper and be so clear in that. Because then when you start to get pulled to, like, looking, if you're like me and you're like, oh, I could do this and I could do this and I could do this. When you have it mapped out with your offer suite and also with the clarity around what you want your life to look like. When I'm like, oh, I could take on this and I could take on this, I think, but if I take this all on in 6 weeks or in 6 months, what would that look like for what I said I wanted my business and my life to look like? Would that actually be filling that need? No. Check that off. It's out. It's out the door because it's just you have this clarity around what you want and what you want for your business and what you want
Right.
for your life. So that's just you have to be able to acknowledge that first. And like I said, I tried to avoid it coming back into the other business set. And it wasn't until I was like, I can't avoid this anymore. I can't avoid myself
You
anymore.
can't. You can't. You so can't. You can move to the mountains and not be around anybody else, but you still have to deal with yourself.
Yeah. And if you avoid yourself, all you're doing is collapsing yourself more and more, little by little.
Yeah,
And then, like I said, if you collapse yourself, who can shine that light on other people?
exactly. And it's
So,
not about collapsing yourself. You're meant to shine for
mhm.
a reason. You're the
Yep.
lighthouse. Be the
Yes.
lighthouse. I love it. I love it. Love it. All right. So, Alicia, where do people find you if they want help structuring their business and in an authentic way?
Yeah. So I'm mainly on Instagram. It's Alicia Business Coaching. So my name is spelled weird. My parents apparently did not know how to spell Alicia. It's Alisha Business Coaching. And I'm over there. And the program that I'm working on right now is Overflow and Profit Offer Suite. And it is a true like business foundation piece. It's not meant to be overwhelming. It is meant to shed light on the scalability pieces of business and actually, like I said, making sure that we're focusing on not giving so much of ourselves, but also giving enough to have these amazing client transformations and build a business that has clients in your world and walking up and down your transformation ladder that you provide, because that's what true scalability is about, and not be having to be on 24/7 because I work with a lot of women who are coming and they've built this amazing business off of this one-to-one framework or this done for you framework. Now it's a matter of how can we pull that into a business model that you can shed your knowledge onto others and impact more and more.
Yes, exactly. And you know what's cool is when you get to that point and you impact more and more by shedding your business knowledge, you actually free up a lot of time when you do that.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
absolutely.
I
And
love it.
that's the beauty. That's what
It's
we're
a
here for,
beauty.
freedom. Freedom
Yes,
in our business. We don't create businesses to get bogged down. We're women. We want to take our lives back. We want to be present for
that's the whole
ourselves
reason. Yep,
and for our family.
I agree. I agree. And for our safety too. That's a
Yes,
lot of the reason why we're
absolutely.
in it. Yep.
Yes, we are not going to burn out, ladies. That's not what we're
No,
doing. That's not
no,
what we're here
safety is
for.
burnout. It has safety and burnout don't mix.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much, Alicia, for hanging out with us today. And for my listeners, thanks so much. Go check out Alicia. Go check her out at Instagram, at
Alicia
Alicia
Business
Business
Coaching.
Coaching. Okay,
Yep.
awesome. And until next time, we'll see you soon, guys. Bye.
Awesome.
All right, Boundary Boss babes. I'm super excited that you tuned in with me today. Make sure you tune in again next week as we chat about more Boundary Boss babe topics. We're going to get into so many other things about how to set boundaries with your business, how to set boundaries with your relationships, so you can truly have the time, the money, and the flexibility that you are seeking. So tune in next week. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Let your other boss babe friends know about it. And also, if you've got any questions, make sure you submit them into the podcast by clicking on the send us a text message at the bottom of the podcast description. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. See you later, boss babes.